What is going on, guys? My name is Ty, and I have Kyle here with me, and this is the Weekend Warrior Disc Golf Podcast, and I am back. I am back from the desert. Um, I had a beautiful trip last weekend. It was actually a event trip for a teens camp up in Zion National Park, actually in Utah. So we flew into Vegas, drove 2.5 hours to St. George, Utah, and we were there for an entire week with no signal, no Wi-Fi, no nothing. I was completely off the grid, and luckily, our boy Kyle here just kept the fort protected, and he gave you guys a great episode to listen to. If you haven't listened to it yet, please give it a listen because he definitely put up a lot of hard work in that, and we just want to support that. And we just really appreciate him doing that. So thank you, Kyle, for stepping in on doing that by yourself. It might have been weird, but obviously had something to talk about because you talked for 42 minutes by yourself. So
I managed. I managed.
so you came up with something. So I gotta listen to it. Actually, I didn't know you actually came up with something, but I'm just glad you did that. So thank you. But yeah, we got some topics, guys. We're gonna be talking about. We were waiting for this moment, Kyle. Someone finally left mid-season um from their sponsorship. Kevin Jones leaving Prodigy. We'll get into that. Um, we have a couple other topics we want to hit before that as well. And then of course we got Rodney back. We'll hit Rodney's corner talking about the reserves that's coming up. But first, before we do any of that, we have a beautiful sponsored read. Gravity Disc Golf exceeds Gravity Disc Golf exists to exceed your out of this world expectation with unparalleled custom designs, disc, and apparel. Gravity is creating an atmosphere where disc golfers can enjoy every aspect of disc golf while blasting off with space themed designs. No matter what you throw, Gravity has a design on almost every manufacturer and can make your game look great. They offer free shipping over any orders over $75, and John includes a nice note to each customer. Make sure you check them out at gravitydiscgolf.com to complete your bag. And let me tell you, they're out of this world. Make sure you put those codes at the very end, KG10 or Ty DG10, to get 10% off your next order. Super amazing, good stuff. Do I have anything that I got for the reason? No, I have not. Just the players pack. Yeah, definitely check them out. Good stuff. They keep rolling up with new things. And yeah, they have some new jerseys out. Of course, you get Kyle's hat if you want to online, 10% off. So if you want to get that, which is really cool. And that's pretty much it. So gravitysoft.com for your next order. But what is going on, Kyle? It's been a week since I've been able to talk to you. Catch me up on some things.
So just a little catch up on last week's episode. I did have a couple things to talk about. As you said, you'll take a listen to it. I talked about just kind of what's going on here with league nights and everything else. We've
Perfect.
had some still good turnouts, about 15 or so people, 15 to 20 people. I've been switching up the different styles. So normally it's random dubs, but I've added in singles, and you add yours and your partner's score. So basically you and your partner score together counts
Yeah.
for your team score.
Yeah. Yeah.
It allows everybody to get a singles round in. So I'm gonna throw that in a rotation, and then I want to throw maybe a worst shot one night in a rotation. I
Mm.
want to kind of have a rotation of things just so it add some different stuff to it.
Yeah.
And people sometimes like that. So I like to spice it up a little bit. I know Monday leagues over at Dixon, they've been doing the same thing, switching it up here and there. So it's always good to add some different types of rounds in. So I'm glad money wise for the end of year parties looking really good so far. We're going to have some awesome stuff for the raffle and
Perfect.
giveaways and everything else for that. I talked about some posed rule changes. So there's one specifically I want to get your thoughts on because you talked about this happening at Walnut with losing disc, and a proposed change in there is quite interesting. There's two main
Interesting.
topics I would want to bring up to you during this podcast as well.
Oh, nice.
Let's see, what else did I talk about? But other than that, that's really it. It's too hot to disc golf right now. We did get a Father's Day round in. We played super early in the morning when it
Hmm.
was a little cool, but the rest of the day just turned stupid hot
Yeah.
with humidity and everything else. It's like 100 something. It's like 100 degrees.
Yeah.
So that's always fun. Obviously, you're down in Florida, so you know the heat all too well as well. It
Very
gets
so.
hot. It gets you need to make it night rounds or morning rounds because playing during the day, it's rough. Other
Yeah.
than that, not too bad. Obviously, we have some news with Kevin Jones and everything else, but I will just straight up start with the two questions on your thoughts
Yeah. Let's
on
do it.
the new. So the two main ones, the two big ones, obviously in the podcast, I talk about a few others, but here's the two main ones. First rule that they're talking about implementing next year. Of course, this is all stuff that every single member, if you're a part of the membership with the PDGA, obviously you can go to their site, go to the voting. Voting might be that that tomorrow. I can't recall, but voting's going to be coming up. Go ahead and put your votes in for these rule changes. But the first one is they are talking about allowing two timeouts, which instead of 30 seconds, you get 60 seconds play from no eye. And
Do
you
you,
can't use them back to back.
so, so my question is this before I answer this. Does the 30 seconds still apply for your regular shots? Like for all your shots, you still have to
You still
finish.
have 30 seconds, but you can, for two shots, you can say timeout. And instead of taking a 30, you could take 60.
Okay, for two of your shots, you're able to take 60 seconds, but
Instead of,
it cannot be stacked. So basically what
no,
you're telling me is I can't take a 30 and then an additional 120 seconds.
right.
Okay. Perfect. Just want to make sure that's what I'm catching. I I don't see that being an issue. I feel like people could use that. Especially for like a harder task of like a shot that is maybe it's a scrambled out and like if there might be like a let's just say that if they do it properly, let's just say there's a lot of low hanging stuff and they have to go try to figure out how to get through it. If they want to take a little bit of
Mhm.
time to kind of get through all that junk, but just trying to find the right path instead of just rushing and just pitching out just to just take up a stroke, like if there's a way to potentially move. I mean, I would like to take a little bit of extra time for it. Um, which kind of relates back to a couple pods ago that I explained of like, do you actually play golf or are you just throwing a disc? And that's the factor is like there's a this difference with playing golf versus just throwing a disc. And I think this kind of question lies on that, where if I legitimately, because my back of my head, every single time I'm playing, I'm just like, I gotta get this disc out in 30 seconds. And obviously, my perception of time is awful. So for me, I think 30 seconds is probably 15 seconds, but in reality, 30 seconds is 30 seconds and it's actually pretty long. Especially when you're watching, well, this is, he's getting better, but when Gannonberg used his 30 seconds, or even Nico Castro, when he would take 30 seconds each time, you really start feeling how long 30 seconds actually is. But I feel like, you know, getting the opportunity to use it for like those type of like, you know, more touchy shots would be perfect. But in all honesty, I don't see it affecting it. I think it's good to have. I think it implements it pretty nicely. I don't see much people using it. I do think it would be great, especially, when you get down to the end. I mean, that has never happened before, but like we still haven't had that situation where we have two people tied and somebody takes 31 seconds to putt and then all of a sudden
Well,
somebody calls
there's my
and
issue about this
yeah.
is the fact that still, so during the Beaver State Fring, when you watch it, you will see
Yeah.
Gannon Burr easily taking about 45 seconds,
Interesting.
and
So,
nobody calls. Oh, like, and they have officials on that card,
mhm.
but even officials don't want to make that awkward call either. But the problem though is, as Ezra said in Brody's podcast, if you have a rule, you can't sit there and have the rule in play for the first two rounds and be like, hey, excessive time,
Mhm.
here's your warning or here's your stroke. And then when it comes to the final round, they're like, oh, I don't want to get involved in this. If the rule is saying 30 seconds is 30 seconds, be on it. You need to call it. It needs to be called.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
agree with
care
that.
if it's a putt to win the thing. I don't care. I mean, you want that suspense. So a putt to win, if it takes 35 seconds, sometimes it's like, okay, is that really a bad thing? So, but it's very finicky. But a rule is a rule.
Well, let's
It's
put
not called enough.
it so
So
let's
here's my proposal. Instead of getting a timeout for everybody, because you got to think that's two timeouts
mhm.
for every single player. That's an extra. That's a minute added to 120 something people, depending on how many people are playing. That's a long time. Which just like even if you up it to 45 seconds, it's a long
Mhm.
time. But instead of giving just two random timeouts, if you're still trying to figure out that perfect time situation, why not just test out putting it 45 seconds? Because that seems to be about the amount of time that people excessive putt anyways, but it is slow. So putting it up to 45 seconds to everybody would add a lot of time for pace of
Yeah.
play as well. But I would rather them up the time than random two timeouts. I don't know. I think the timeout thing is kind of weird in a way.
Well, realistically, first thing I've like a twofer here. Realistically, the 66th placed person is not going to take an extra 60 seconds on their putt. Like, I don't really see them doing that. And if they do, that's completely pointless. Um, um, Secondly, I'm kind of using this as like basketball terms with kind of like the whole Ezra situation. Like what he kind of brings up, it's the same thing with like, it's tied, let's just say it's tied 90-90. The 5 seconds left on the clock. Like, the person needs to release the ball before it hits zero.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's still holding the ball, like he's and it you hear the buzzer and then he releases, like that ball is dead. It's done. It should be the same thing with the whole clock. I do agree with that. It should be all or nothing. So if we're counting them from first round and second round, but being like lenient on the third round, that should not be happening. It should be a fair game throughout each time. Um, but yeah, no, I agree. Like, I don't know. I don't know the feeling of 2 60 seconds. Maybe one would be perfect, I
Mm-hmm.
think, which personally I would only use that. Like, I wish there's a way that you could like break up the 60 seconds. That would be kind of interesting where you get an extra 60 seconds, but you could break it up where like you're adding like only 5 seconds here or like 10 seconds
Mm-hmm.
here, or like you could break it up. But at the same time, that's kind of difficult to like track because I
It
can
is.
already hear it in the
So,
comments with
mm,
flooding of like, well, that doesn't make sense. You're gonna just add like a second here, then 2 seconds here, then 3 seconds. Like, it's like,
yeah.
oh, how
So
many seconds do you have left?
you have to implement you have to imply to the card that you're taking your time out as well. So when you
Yeah.
come up, you're like, hey, I'm taking my time out. There is actually a spot in the score on the PDGA scorecard that you will check and that you've used your timeout,
Mm-hmm.
your first time out of the two. So that's how they'll track that. Trying to break it up into multiple shots would be very hard to try to
Yeah.
keep track of.
So yeah, I mean, if they create a certain way, that's fine. I just, two is a little too excessive, I feel. And especially if you're talking about if there is like 120 people or players, like that could get very long. I mean, I feel like you knock it down to maybe one 60-second timeout, or you just add an additional 15 seconds per each
Mm.
one. I feel like those are your two answers. Personally, I think two's a little too much. but I do like the idea due to the fact of like I mean, honestly, let's just be honest here. Realistically, it'd be nice if just like the actual cards that are like fighting for winning, like they only get the option of 60 seconds. Because like it gives them a chance to be able to like, just give them some extra time for a potential win. But at the same time, though, it needs to be strict throughout each time. Like we need to pay attention to the faults that have been happening. We need to pay attention to this whole jump putt situation that everybody's all freaking out about. And then we also need to implement the 30-second rule.
If you are adding the 2 timeouts in next season, there better be a lot of calls, no matter what the situation is,
Mm,
of excessive over 30 seconds. Because there's no reason to add in 2 timeouts to give you extra time,
yeah.
and people are still taking 45 seconds to putt.
So what
Like
happens?
Gannonberg has it.
What happens with the factor of like not? Let's just say next year they implement it, and let's say you and I are playing a B tier and in Central Illinois, and some guy goes over 31 seconds. One of us calls it, and then he tries to go. Oh no no no! I'm taking my 60 seconds.
You
This
can't. You have to do it. You
you
have
have
to
to
say
apply
it
it.
before you even get to. You got to, like, you see your like approaching your lie. You have
Mhm.
to say, "I'm taking my time out."
So you have to say it before you even touch your lie, as opposed to
Yeah.
let your 30 seconds drop and then you're
Mhm.
like, I need additional
Yeah.
60 seconds.
Hmm.
Okay. As long as that happens, then yeah, I don't
Right.
yeah, I just think one is good. I don't really think two is necessary, but that's just me.
Right. So for the second rule change, lost disc, they have put in the description of it that as a player on the card, you do not have to help the other player search for their disc. So you take a bad shot, yank it right into the rough. I could, you could start searching and be like, hey, can you come help? I think it was around here, or where do you think it went out at? No, you don't have to help at all. Which, as a nice person, I would probably like, I think it went about here.
Yeah, I
Let
still
me kind
say
of
like,
search. I would still help, but think of the strategy.
okay, let's be honest here.
So,
Realistically, am I actually like looking for a disc? Like, I'm gonna be completely honest. I really am not. I'd
I'm
say
eyeing. I scan. If I find, I'm
I
pretty good at
scan,
scanning
yes,
too.
I scan, but I'm not looking as hard as the other person. Like it
But
depends on honestly, I'm gonna be completely biased. It depends on who's on my card. If it's like somebody that I know, or if it's like you, or if it's like what I'm trying to say, like if it's somebody that I really
hear me
know,
out.
I'm looking,
Let
but I'm not
let's
really.
say we're on final card, going for the win. You and I.
Yeah, yeah.
You relying on your Enigma, your bread and butter,
My
and you
yellow
yank that.
enigma.
I know your disc. I seen you play with it all round. I know you're killing it with this disc, and
Yeah.
that's the one you lose. It's like, I'm not helping you
Yeah.
find that. Like,
No.
you joking? No, I'm
Yeah,
not
no.
touching that.
I know, I
You're
understand that.
relying on it. The
I understand
strategy
that.
around that will be pretty crazy.
No, and I get that. Honestly, like realistically, so like devil's advocate is this, like technically it is golf, therefore like it's technically like a gentleman's game where you're supposed to help each other out, and every single call relies on the just as like a gentleman's call of like we're all here to work together, not really work together, but you know what I'm trying to say, like it's that like factor all the time. It's kind of taking that out now where it's like now you don't have to help, which actually I didn't realize this. They Yuli just said this too just recently, is you actually in the rule book you're not allowed to ask what you throw
Right.
to the other players. Like if
Mhm.
you and I are playing and you randomly like obviously I know we know each other, so we're okay. But technically, like if somebody on your card goes, "Oh, dude, that was sick. What'd you throw?" You technically don't have to answer at all because now you're giving them an example of potentially like how to throw for that hole.
Right. Mhm.
So it's just the same thing. I mean like I don't see it as an issue. Um
I mean,
Obviously I'm
yeah,
assuming they still get the 2 minute finder.
mhm.
So these are like potential rule changes for next year that they're
They
voting.
they have a list. Yeah. Just search it up, Google it,
Interesting.
but and it should pop up. There's a
Interesting.
couple others, like of course, like C tiers. There has to be bathrooms on the premises now. That's a rule that they're trying to implement. So a park that doesn't have a bathroom, I'm sorry, you lose out. You have to have a bathroom available unless you rent porta potties or something. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Like there's a bunch of, just go ahead and read. I talked about a couple of them in the last podcast, but those are the two big ones I wanted to bring up.
wow.
So some interesting stuff.
No,
There
that's
is actually some I brought up. Have you seen the European Open 2024 team breakdown yet?
I saw a quick thing, but I didn't know like how set in stone it was. Because I when I saw it, I had some questions on the European side of like some people that I didn't see their names on. So um and also for the guys side too, or for American side too, I was like, interesting.
So I
So
do know the player vote. I think it's for sure tomorrow for us.
what
So
is
for Europe, it's Seppu, Kristen Tatar, Evelina, Simon Lazat, Nicholas Antela, Mekala, and Simerad. I can never pronounce his name. And then there's a fan vote, which that's tomorrow.
okay, that makes sense.
Captain's choice for MPO, reserve player FPO, and reserve player MPO.
Okay.
So for Team USA, my guy, Paul Ulibarri, is captain. Owns Scoggins, Missy Gannon, Calvin Heimberg, Gannon Burr, Ricky Wysocki, Eagle McMahon. Of course, then there's a fan vote, captain's choice, reserve player FPO, reserve player NPO.
Hmm. Yeah,
I think the fan vote will be Anthony Broa. I do agree with Paul and them on that. I think he might take that down pretty easily.
I was surprised to not see Jesse Yineman on the European
Mm.
side. That was one of the names that I was surprised that we didn't see on there.
It could be one of the reserve spots too. And I'm not sure how the reserves are working, if it's going to go off of world
Yeah,
rankings
that makes
or
sense.
if it's captain choices or how that's going.
Yeah,
But
no,
that'll be a lot of fun.
cool. Yeah, no, it's that's gonna be super exciting. Like obviously I enjoy watching um the European
That's
Open.
a fun. Yeah, I love the European
President's
Open. The
Cup.
tournament itself is awesome, but their little fun battle is just as fun as well.
Oh yeah,
I look
definitely.
forward to it every year.
Yeah. There's different layout. I think it's like match play or something like that. Always enjoyable to watch. So yeah. Yeah, let's just get into Rodney's corner real fast. Let's see how she's doing. And then after that, we'll come right back and we'll hit a couple more topics for you. Oh, Roddy. So we're here at Roddy's corner. It's good to be back. So Rodney, take it away.
Okay, so I'm gonna catch us up first on some points. So for the 2024 Beaver State Fling, that was June 7th through June 9th in Oregon, I FPO for Rodney was 1, MPO was 1, so I got 2 points. Tyler came out of nowhere for this one. FPO1, MPO4. So he got 5 points. And then Kyle tied with me. He got FPO1, MPO1 with 2 points. So the points leading up to today, it is Rodney 37, Tyler 31, and Kyle 36.
Heck yeah. Just want to say you better watch out because I'm coming for you guys.
Ah, no.
Very
Did
good.
so obviously last week you weren't all here. I posted a
Yeah.
video a little
Yep.
bit. Not sure if you kind of remember what had happened at Beaver State Fling, but
I'm gonna be real honest. No. So I would love
Friday,
an update.
sadly, so Friday, we're gonna be completely honest here. Friday night, we were traveling. Saturday,
week.
we were traveling. Sunday, we were in training, and then all throughout the whole week, we're at the camp. And then Saturday, we were traveling. Sunday, we were traveling. Monday, I went hitting the ground running with tons of projects. And then today is our first official day where we actually had some time, and we just got done watching In and Out 2 or Inside Out 2, whatever it's called. Which was really good actually. But yeah, nope, that's what we've done for the past.
Me counting the points just before this podcast was when I found out who won. I've been
Yep.
So go ahead and tell us what
yeah.
kind of happened.
Gannon obviously took it down at the end. So Luke Humphrey was doing amazing. He was in control the entire time. I talked about in my last podcast, in the podcast last week. In control, looked really good. Luke and Owen both lost it on hole 17, which is awesome because if you mess up on that hole, there's definitely a point difference because a lot of holes in disc golf, you can get a perfect shot. The person that hits off a tree goes in the woods suddenly gets a par still, so you gain the 8th stroke. Hole 17 is nicely played because the fact that you can mess up and suddenly Luke Humphreys par 5 hole, he got a 9 on it.
Oh my goodness.
But sadly, he dropped all the way from 1st to 8th or 9th place. But Ezra Robinson, the better Robinson at the moment, and honestly this year overall, had a chance to actually tie Gannon and take him into a playoff, but airballed the 50-foot putt. So Gannon was able to take it down. Gannon did have a hot streak at the end there, though. So the MPO finish was pretty fun to watch, and the FPO finish was absolutely outstanding to watch either. If you haven't seen a highlight of Holland Hanley's putt to win the entire thing, you need to watch it because of the way that she just turned around and just was like hyped up and stuff like that. It was amazing. So she tied it on hole 18 with about a 40-foot putt, I think, 35 to 40-foot putt to tie it. Owen parked it to win it. So Hamlin had to make it to push it to a playoff. Of course, being hole 16 and the starting hole, she plays that a lot better than Owen and took it down pretty easily at the end there. But super fun finishes. If anything, watch Jomez post-produced and watch at least the final, even just watch the back 9 on both of them if you want to, or skip up to the last 5 holes at least and just watch how the final holes played out for that.
Yeah, I normally like to watch the back 9 for both if I do miss it. Just to at least get the gist of it. But yeah, I just know there's quite a bit that did happen. Because I was fortunate enough to actually listen to when I was driving all day yesterday to projects. I was listening to Foundations pod and just to kind of get a brief catch up on things. Which, by the way, you were the closest for Nate Doss, 71st. He
You were
won
close.
I think.
Yeah,
I think he got 72nd, and I was like, I meant to mention that in the last podcast, I didn't, so I will throw it out there now.
That was the only thing, real fast. That was the only thing Tyler would keep me updated on. He was like, Nate Doss in 70th right now. And I'm like, where's anybody else? He's like, I'm just paying attention to this. I'm like, is Kyle gonna get extra points right now? I swear.
That was as bad as anything else.
It was awesome to see Nate play again. Super cool that he played and he was out there. But yeah, 71st he finished.
Yeah.
He was 2 strokes from tying to 78th. That's how close I was on that.
You were super
That's
close.
funny. You know who got in 15th place? Do you know who got it? Paul Hewley.
Oh,
Yeah. Paul got it. Paul had a really good showing again. Paul's
Yeah.
been I will tell you, I'm just gonna throw it out there as well. Paul Hewley has been playing some solid golf. And I really hope he can take one down before he decides to, take his foot off the throttle a little bit and get on the other side of disc golf. I'm sure he has plenty of years left, but it's awesome to see Yuli's consistency this year. He's consistently getting top 20s and everything else. Just super solid. It's been a lot of fun to watch.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But dang, another playoff with Luke and Burr. But Burr took it again.
So Waco, of course, Luke blew it at the end, and he's another one that needs to get his win. He's been so close. And Beaver, what's pretty crazy is Beaver State Fling is not a course that you would think Luke would do as well in, like he does in Waco and stuff. But he played some solid golf. It was just that very end there that was very unfortunate. But again, good. Watch it. Really good. Really good. Solid
I need
finish.
to. I saw Ricky was up in the top 3 as well.
He did good as well, and he had a questionable play there as well towards the end that he probably should have gone for something he didn't, and it cost him. Or he went for something that he shouldn't have, and it cost him. But another really solid outing for Ricky. But overall, like I said, take a look at the final, and it's a very fun watch.
Yeah, we definitely will. All right. Since we don't really have, like I said, Kyle already did a previous episode talking about it more in depth because we sadly had to miss it. We did skip the Finland one because we were out of state. And there wasn't a lot of people playing. So we're gonna go straight into the 2024 Preserve Championship connected by Microsoft Teams. It's June 21st to the 23rd in Clearwater, Minnesota. I'll let Kyle go first.
For the for the FPO, I have, what did I say? All right. I have, since she's playing, she won 3 weeks ago, was it?
Yes.
I have Paige Pierce taking it down. I have a huge shout out to Own. Massive win again. Another world's title for the Masters. Amazing job. She won by like 20 something strokes. She had minus like 33. Yeah, she just dominated. Own looks super good, especially after playing that Sunday and then having to play that Tuesday. I think it started or something like that. Huge shout out to Own for winning Masters. And then I have Missy Gannon finishing 3rd. I don't know. I just was looking through there. I just feel like she's due for at least the top 3.
She was close when I was looking up from the Beaver. She was in 4th. So I was like, she's slowly creeping back up. So go ahead, Tyler, with your picks.
Well, it's pretty much going to sound like a straight echo from what Kyle just said, but I got first place. I have Paige Pierce taking it down. There shouldn't really be a problem for this one. I feel like she finally has a monkey off her back. Should be an easy win. Just keep using the drive to keep her with their drive. And then second place, I actually have Hanley. I just feel like she's going to just keep the momentum rolling. And then I actually have third place, Owen Scoggins. I feel like, though, in retrospect, I feel like Hanley, and Owen Scoggins are going to tie for second place. So I don't think we'll actually have like a third place, but I just want to mention that just in case it does happen. I just want to like, use it for the nug if we have it. Other than that, though, I do have Paige in first, second is Hanley, and third and Owen.
Okay. And then for myself, I have Own in first. I have Missy Gannon in second. And then I have Rebecca Cox in third. I don't know. She's been kind of creeping up there. Like she's been solid. And I'm just waiting for her to get a top 3 finish. So hopefully we'll see how it goes. I can never go against Own. And then Missy, I just feel like she's due for a top 3 finish again. So that's where I'm at. So I have Own, Missy Gannon, the Rebecca Cox. And then MPO, go ahead, Kyle.
He's due. Obviously, he's going to win one this season. It's just a matter of figuring out which one he's going to take down. But I have Ricky Witt taking it down this week. I have Gannon Burr, which honestly, it's hard to go against Gannon. Gannon's obviously won 2 in a row so far. If you don't count, obviously, over in Finland, Nicholas Antola took that down, but Gannon didn't play. A lot of people didn't play. So the last 2 here, Gannon Burr won. So I have Burr in second and making his comeback after having a little one. Watching his videos that he's been posting constantly because I love when he gets in content mode and just post. And he's looking good. He's throwing those discs very well. I have Mr. Simon Lizotte himself finishing third. I think he's just going to feel on fire, ready to get back out there, and wants to take this down really quick, fly in, fly home.
Go ahead, Tyler.
Listen, so I'm a gambling guy, and one of my favorite games to play at the casino is roulette. And when you're on a hot streak, when you're betting down blacks or reds, let's just say right now, black is super hot. Therefore, Burr is super hot. He has went back to back, landed on win again, and I was right. So I'm gonna just go again and say Burr is gonna be number 1 right now. So Burr's gonna come in first place. I can't say no because right now the statistics telling me that's gonna hit again. Second place goes to Ricky. I feel like he's gonna be there. He's gonna be rolling, but something's telling me on that third round he's gonna lose it. And then our Illinois boy, Rathbun, is definitely gonna be taken down third place. He's been hot. Somebody pick that kid up. I want to see that. I want to see that kid sponsored.
I want him to top 3 again, and I want him to get picked up. But the last time I picked him up and I put him in my top 3 for the first time,
I didn't pick him. That's why.
64th place or something. And I'm like, okay, maybe you do better when I do not pick you. So I'm not going to pick him.
It's okay. Well, I picked him. He's going to come in third place. So
He does well with the open bag, though. So I don't mind if he's just like an infinite or something like that, or OTB sponsor.
yeah.
Just somebody that's an open bag.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, our thought
But
space.
it will help him because is he going to be able to go across seas? You know what I'm saying? If you're not, that's a lot of money out of your own pocket.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully he does. Okay. So for my MPO, there's a lot of people that are not playing that I would normally put on my top. So I'm just winging it. Besides Burr. Burr, number 1, most consistent player so far this year. And I think still. And then so I have him in first. Kyle Klein. He just needs to come back up. I don't know. He's been here and there, and there's not a lot of people that are playing this game. So I'm like, why not? And then I have to put Simon somewhere up there. So Simon is in my third position. Excited to see him back, excited to see him play. And like Kyle said, hopefully he just comes in, has a good game, and goes back home to his kiddos, you know? So I have Burr, Kyle Klein, and then Simon Lizotte.
Yeah.
I think that's
I will say, I will take it down this week. So
Oh,
I will get that lead and
you know what? As
call it out.
long as Ricky doesn't go in the top, I'm pretty good because we have almost the same people everywhere else. So the deal breaker is if Ricky goes in the top 3, because then that's a point that I will not be getting, but you and Tyler will get. So
Well,
Well, he's finishing
he's definitely
first, so I'll get the most points for him. So we're good to go.
no, it's gonna be he's gonna throw a bogey on 16 and he's gonna drop down to second place.
or he just doesn't place in the top 3 and I'm good.
Mm-mm,
No,
no.
I know he's on it. He needs to get one. And
there's quite a bit that need to get one though.
yeah.
I will say that.
All right.
But yeah.
I think that wraps up the Rodney's Corner. Thank you again. And this time we're actually here this weekend, so we'll be able to actually watch the preserve. So that's exciting to get back into disc golf world.
Yes,
So,
yes. I'm excited to be able to watch again. So
yeah, this time we'll be more prepared. All
all right.
righty. We'll see
All
you.
right. We'll see you next time.
All right, and we're back. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. We're super excited about the reserves. Like I said, it just feels good to be back and like actually be able to watch. But before we go anywhere else on any topics, we have to talk about it. Kevin Jones stepping away from Prodigy Disc, which personally I don't think he really enjoyed being there, to be honest, but that's a whole nother story. But I'm just surprised somebody's actually leaving and then they're not trying to sue them.
Yeah, I'm
No,
excited. I'm excited for him though. I'm curious. I've seen a lot of
yeah,
post speculation that are like, oh, is he just going to music? Is he just focusing that? But he
yeah,
had said he had big news. Excuse me. And he did say he had big news coming.
yeah,
Also, I do know that it sounds like there's some inner works of other captains from other teams talking like, oh no, we know where he's going. So
mm,
he's definitely found something. I'm
he's
curious where.
yeah,
I just want him to keep playing. I think Kevin Jones is a very awesome personality to have in disc golf, especially when you watch the skin matches with JK Pro.
yeah,
DK Bro.
yeah,
And the
GK
skin
Pro, yeah.
matches when you watch him on there, the putting game, which I kind of miss. I miss Jomez doing the putting game. I haven't seen any of that
That was
or
fun.
any of.
I enjoyed
Yeah,
watching it
I
that one
missed it.
season.
But Kevin Jones is a super awesome personality. I love listening to have fun with other people and behind the scenes stuff. So my main thing is him still playing, but he has not had the greatest season. He's finished, I think, in the top 20, top 30, maybe 2 times this season, maybe
Yeah,
3 only. He's been pretty high up there. He hasn't really done a whole lot this season, which is unfortunate because we all know he can play.
yeah.
He can obviously play, but
I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know if it's just like mental or if it's just like he's not happy with Prodigy or I don't know.
mhm.
We don't know. I don't know him personally, so that's the only thing. I do know he's young, so there's really no reason for him not to do well. He has great moments. He gets up there, but for some reason, sometimes he just kind of crashes. But I do want to read. I pulled up what Prodigy wrote actually about him.
Mhm.
Not this is not Kevin Jones speaking. This is actually Prodigy speaking, but they mentioned for 6 years, Kevin Jones has embodied everything Prodigy stands for: dedication, creativity, and excellence. From winning the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship to the iconic Slip Ace and his fan favorite collab molds, we like to thank Kevin. The energy and impact he's had on our company and the support of disc golf has been incredible. We wish KJ all the best in his next chapter. So great words there. It seems like they're super happy with this separation. Obviously, just I guess something wasn't grooving right, and they decided to part ways, which that could happen. So
It definitely can. They had to make up some book money for both the Robinsons because Ezra was saying, haha, you're gonna play Isaac, you're playing me too. I'm the better brother here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have Ezra Robinson having a great season, which I think he is going to win a tournament at some point this season as well.
Yeah.
I definitely think Ezra Robinson will win a tournament this season.
Oh yeah, I believe that. So,
Um,
but it's interesting to see where he goes. Everybody has their speculations. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you said your source is thinking Lone Star.
I just thought he didn't say it. I just assume I'm not assuming it either too much, but
Yeah.
the way that comments come out, it's like Lone
Realistic.
Star?
Let's play this game. Realistically, if you could put him in a perfect world, where do you think he fits, and where do you think he would go? Like, not any speculations, no comments, no nothing. Where do you physically think that KJ fits in?
Honestly, I think what fits KJ is the open bag, but at the same time, I don't throw anything Lone Star, but Lone Star lacks that bigger name like that. And KJ is still a big name, even though he's not having a good season. He's still a big household name in disc golf. I guess I wouldn't. I don't count Nico out either. Nico is obviously that a staple in disc golf as well. But imagine getting somebody like KJ on your team. I think that's a big pickup for anybody that does it.
Yeah.
But if he goes the single route, I could see Lone Star. But if I see more of an open bag, I could see maybe an OTB sponsorship, or you kind of get the whole infinite slash thought space team up because usually if you're with thought space, you team up with infinite.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking thought space or just kind of like some sort of mixed bag definitely fits them pretty well. If I have to choose just a straight manufacturer, I know they technically probably use the money for it, but honestly, it'd be kind of cool seeing him as this mania, but I just don't think that's gonna happen because I think their cap is done, especially um picking up Gannon Burr. Obviously, I don't know how much Burr is actually making, but um, other than that, it's just gonna be cool to see where he goes. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
he's just going solo and he's just doing his own thing. We'll see. I mean, he has news coming. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he's the first first person for Drew Gibson's line.
That'd be sick too. I am not gonna
Um,
lie.
I mean, like maybe
Honestly,
yeah, we don't know. So we'll see what happens. But
he definitely
um,
has options.
I think this weekend is not the weekend. I think it's next weekend is my tournament for the Northwest Florida Championship. So we'll see how that goes. Um, nice beat here. Very excited. Excited to represent Gravity. Um, so hopefully I need to figure something out because during the week when I was gone, I twisted my ankle, or I did something with my ankle because it doesn't feel good when I walk. So I have to let that rest. So hopefully
Mm-hmm.
by then I should be good. So but luckily it is my left ankle, not my right one. My right one, or my right foot, is definitely more my um leading leg for everything. So that's perfect. So I don't have to put too much pressure on my left hand side. So but yeah, overall that's pretty much it on my end. But yeah, I think that wraps up episode 27. So
Yeah.
any final
Big.
words you want to say?
Nope. Just anybody that's been listening consistently. Thank you. Thank you for everybody that listened last week. That was I tried. I did my best. My throat was hurting from talking so much, trying to get through it all, but definitely was
You,
worth it. Glad I got something out for everybody.
yeah, you're getting people watching it. Weirdly enough, that has more views than most of our previous ones. So apparently that people want to hear you more than me, which is good. I'll take that. So, but alrighty, guys, thank you so much for an amazing time. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. And like I said, we'll see you guys next week. And it just feels good to be back. So
Yes.
keep playing disc golf, have fun, and we'll see you guys in the next pod.